Welcome to the Multitasking Maven Show. If you're tired of saying, I don't have time for that, you're in the right place. I help busy moms organize their time and get the most out of their days through videos, tips, interviews, and workshops. After taking one of my productivity workshops, Carol had to say, amazing! You've given me back at least 5 hours a week. If you would like to find time in your schedule, make sure to go to multitaskingmaven.com right there on the homepage and register. Now, let's get into today's episode. So in today's episode, we're going to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, and I'm going to share with you the tools that I use in my business. I hope that it's helpful for you if you're on the fence about using a particular tool in order to make the decision. Now, I have always been of the mindset that you don't need all of the fancy tools. You just need the tools that are going to work for you in your business. I know that it's hard sometimes to get that shiny object syndrome and to go down a rabbit path. Resist it. When you get a combination that works well for you, stay the path, unless you're looking for a solution or a continued way to automate a system. All right. So before we get started, the first thing that I want to say is done is better than perfect. I think that sometimes we wait until this ideal that we're going to be perfect in our presentation, whether it's a website, an email, it doesn't matter. Done is better than perfect, because as you start in your journey and as you move through your journey, 3 months, 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the road, it's going to look very different in your business. And you might as well just go ahead and push publish and then just welcome that journey as you move through it, and then change and update until you really get a clear picture. And even then, things are going to change. All right. So just always know that change is inevitable. All right. So what we're going to start with is website. And the first thing that I want to say about a website, doesn't matter if you're WordPress, Squarespace, what I make sure to do is to always have the domain separate. I've always, over the past 14 years, used oneandone.com for all of my domains and never had a problem. Just make sure when you're getting a domain for your site and your domain is your address, that you want to go with a reputable company. Now, I used WordPress.org for over 3 years. And here's the thing. There are lots of arguments to go with WordPress. It's SEO, all the capabilities, all the flexibility, all that sort of thing. I just found it, I feel like I'm pretty tech savvy. I found in some instances it was difficult to navigate. Things wouldn't work. There would be breakdowns, issues would happen. And so what I ended up moving to was Squarespace. And I've never been disappointed. Things are very easy. It's drag and drop, very straightforward. Again, I did have my domain with one-on-one, and I point that to my Squarespace site, even though I get a domain when I purchase a Squarespace site. It's all in one package, but it's just too easy. And it's just, I love just how pretty it is. And literally you can create a website within a weekend and be up and running. So my recommendation, if you're not very tech savvy and you just need to get something up to get yourself started and to launch, is to go with Squarespace. Next, email. I feel email, I've always said this, from the very, very beginning, from the very first event that I have, email is the cornerstone of your business. Social platforms can come and go, algorithms can change, you own your email list. When I first started my very first event, people literally would write down their email addresses. We would type it into an Excel spreadsheet, upload it. At the time I was using Constant Contact. And that's how I would get started. Today, when I open my event, I can have over 300 register within a very short period of time. Email is where it's at. I have evolved over the years. I probably used 3 or 4 different email marketing or email service providers, but the one that I'm using right now, and I really love it because they've got the visual automation is ConvertKit. And it does so many, it's intuitive, you can tag. It's a different way of looking at email. The other thing, and I'm going to just use this last point for ConvertKit, is if I send an email out on Tuesday and there are still people who have not seen it, then I will send the unopened, I'll resend it on Thursday. And that increases my open rate because you want people to see that content. So I'd highly recommend ConvertKit. It is one of the areas where you definitely want to invest in your business. I believe it's up to $2,000 or $3,000 is $29 a month. Okay. So you definitely want to get an email service provider. Now, when I'm looking at screen recording or doing an interview, client interviews, client sessions, one-on-one sessions, working with my team, I use Zoom. Zoom, there is a free version. You can also use Zoom when you are posting live in a Facebook group. All of those different interviews that you see where it's dual screen, you can use Zoom for that. And the thing that I love is that I record to the cloud. So I'm not bogging down my memory. I typically have an issue with memory, both on my MacBook, and then I've got a Mac for a desktop as well. I'm not a very good manager of external hard drive or external or internal hard drive. So I definitely recommend Zoom. You can start out free and use that for a really, really long time. I think the next tier up is $14.99. And then if you want to go ahead and add the option where you're actually posting in Facebook, recording, all those kind of things, I think the total cost for that is going to be $54 to $59 a month. All right. Now, for editing a video, you cannot, in this day and age, get away from video. I highly, highly, highly recommend Filmora. The reason being, it's very intuitive, drag and drop editor. You've got music, you can do intros, outros, quick editing. You can make just the most basic video look really, really good using Filmora. It is very, very reasonably priced, and it is definitely my go-to. Whether you're PC or Mac, you can use Filmora, and it's not expensive like some of your other editors, like Camtasia, which I believe now is for, you can get it for Mac, but that runs about $200, I believe. And I know ScreenFlow, because I've used that product on my Mac, is about $100. If you think about it in terms of tech, you know, can I use Filmora if I'm not so tech savvy? Absolutely. I believe it's a step above iMovie, but it's definitely a go-to, an entry-level point for Filmora. You could stay there, to be honest with you. I edit my videos, and I also edit the podcast right there on Filmora. Now, for all of my graphic designs, I use a free tool called canva.com. I create templates. I use it for my Pinterest. I use it for Facebook. Any kind of graphics that I need within my blog post, any graphics that I need. And I think that we use it for all of the printables that we do. So you can either create something that is a PDF where people can print out. You can also edit and do images. It has huge capabilities. And again, it does have a free tier. I have tried several times the paid version, and I've just not seen the return for me personally, and I always go back to the free version. We all know how I feel about a project management tool. We know that I use Trello for my home renovation, my homeschooling, and all of my businesses. I use Trello. It's how I manage, how I work every single day. Trello is a free project management tool. Free project management tool. I can't even believe that it's free with the capabilities that it has. I want you to think about a piece of poster board. If you don't know what Trello is, make sure you check out some of the videos that I have here. Just piece of poster board, very organized sticky notes. Very organized. That is Trello. Now, we want to move to how do I offer digital products, both courses and membership. I started out with Teachable probably 3 years ago, and I've stayed with Teachable. It is a drag and drop editor. It's so easy to use, so easy to set up. One of the things that I love about it is that you can offer, if you do a course, say it's a free course, maybe as an opt-in, you can offer as a free payment. You can offer as a one-time payment. You can also do install like payment plans, also known as a membership site, let's face it. And it automatically does that for, well, you have to enable that, but it will do that for you. And you can also process payments through both PayPal and Stripe. A couple of the other features that I love, of course, it's very easy to add text, images, workbooks, and videos. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about with Teachable. You don't have to have an additional hosting site. So you're not hosting videos over on YouTube or Vimeo or Wistia and then putting them in Teachable. You can automatically just upload the video right there and you're ready to go. And the checkout page, they've actually done some updates that are really great. Now they have an area where you can actually post testimonials and you can also offer upsells. It's just a really easy, again, drag and drop editor, and it really makes delivering a digital product like a course, or maybe you're even doing like a workbook, a text-based course. It makes it very easy to do. And then, of course, you know, payment processing either through PayPal or through Stripe. You know, people typically, when they do purchase, it's either PayPal or credit card. It's really 50-50. It's not 100% one or the other. So you want to make sure that you offer both of those options. Now, when it comes to funnels, and I think people define funnels a lot of different ways, and they think about them in a lot of different ways. I'm just going to say, as far as a funnel editor, I have moved to ClickFunnels. Don't want to go into too much detail. We can always do an episode about funnels. I have found the editor, sometimes it can be clunky, and sometimes it can be glitchy, but I really, really like, maybe it's just the way that my brain works, and how to use ClickFunnels to build funnels to both my opt-ins, which ultimately go to products. So I use ClickFunnels. Now, in terms of communication, both with my team, with clients, and other folks that I'm working with, there are two things that I use. Number one is Slack. It is a free tool, and you can use it just one-on-one conversation, or you can post in just like kind of a general area where everyone can see it. It's a great tool to use. And then I also use on my phone the Voxer app. When I find that there's just too much text to write, then I will say, I've just sent you a Vox, and I will hop on Voxer and I will send a message that way. Now, finally, I'm just going to end here with the social media channels that I use, and I want to make one note about them. The ones that I have selected for my business are Pinterest, Facebook, and YouTube. Now, with Pinterest, in terms of a scheduler, I recommend Tailwind. It is API approved, and they are just adding so many additional features, and they're rolling out a lot here in the first quarter of 2018. So I really recommend that you select Tailwind. Facebook, people always ask me, what social media schedulers do you use? If a platform offers you a scheduler, use that scheduler. And when it comes to Facebook, they're very finicky, they're very picky about all the things of Facebook. Definitely use the Facebook scheduler to schedule Facebook. And then when it comes to YouTube, I have recently got into TubeBuddy, and I use the paid version of that. I believe it's about $20 a month. But I have found TubeBuddy to be very helpful, and I haven't even scratched the surface for this particular tool. Now, I will say that a lot of these things have in common, I mean, we're trying to drive traffic, and then they have the video component to them as well. And so any of the content that I produce, I try in some way, form, or fashion to repurpose. So for example, right now I'm doing a blog post, but you'll see it that it's posted on YouTube and embedded on my Squarespace site. I can then do a Pinterest pin, both just straight to the blog post, or I can also do a Pinterest pin straight to YouTube to that video for people to watch. And then I could take snippets of my video and load them onto Facebook, both onto my page and within my group. I really tried to get as much juice as possible when it comes to my content. And I love, love, love video content. It's something that I'm really going to be working on and digging into in 2018. And finally, I think that your numbers say everything. And so I definitely use Google Analytics. I meet with my team once a week, and we cover how our social media platforms are growing. We take a look at what posts have done well. We take a look at where people are coming in from and where we need to manage our time. Just because someone is doing well with Facebook doesn't necessarily mean that my business is doing well with Facebook. 90% of my traffic could be coming from Pinterest. So you just have to manage your analytics, and I do that with just the best tool that's out there, which is Google Analytics. So that's it. I have created a sheet for you that lists all of these tools with links so you can take a look. So you make sure that you click to get that printable. And if you have any questions, just go post them in our private Facebook group. This is your invitation to join the conversation with us. And I will post this link right below this video. I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you for listening to today's episode. For show notes, links, and printables, go to multitaskingmaven.com. While you're there, be sure to get your invitation to our private Facebook community. Until next time.